Here we are. We're looking ahead to Thursday. I was going to say it's a reasonable day in terms of an NBA schedule, but it's not. There's 2 games on. But we're going to preview them. We're going to look at streams because it is a perfect stream opportunity. We've also got a perfect stream chunk coming up. Chunky streams. Who wants to hear about them? Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and from now on, I'm going to have all my jokes written by Elon Musk's Grok AI. Boobies. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at LockedOnFantasyBasketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Jace Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jace Case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50 plus infections. Get yours today at jacemedical.com, J-A-S-E medical.com. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and we are available on all platforms. I don't know why I do this. I'm always just moving my hands around. Yeah, that's what I do. Hands moving, words talking, dead blank stares. It's all about what we're here. So it's what we're all about here. Man, I can't even speak. We are talking about, I'm getting prepared for a 14-game day and I'm already melting down. We're talking about Thursday here, though. We're talking about getting streams ready. And you can even do this a day in advance because with 14 games on, who cares? Like, most of the guys you're adding off the wire for Wednesday. It's why we didn't do a stream of the day for Wednesday. Most of the guys you're adding, you're not going to use anyway, unless it's a weird situation. So let's start planning ahead for Thursday's action in the NBA. There are 2 games on. One of them is in Mexico. Yeah, we're going to Mexico. Down for the first game, or the second game of the day, actually. But there are the 2 games on, and that is what exactly we are going to talk about. But let's just do a quick recap on injuries. Wes Matthews and Kobe Buffkin are out for the Hawks. Wendell Carter Jr. is out for the Magic. We also got updated, just as I'm hitting record here, that Gary Harris is out. That is not a shock at all. Big Gaz with the groin strain. I don't know why we can't get a full update on that. This has got to be 3 weeks. It just has to be. Again, it's like the Jamal Murray one. It's like Terry Rozier's one. Like, it's going to be time. And that's where we're at with Gaz. Although better news for the Magic is that Markelle Fultz is back practicing after missing his last 2 games with knee swelling. He is available in 20+% of leagues. So if that's one of yours where he's dropped, and you can tell me that that's a taco league, whatever. I just heard that I saw Mitch Casey actually talk about it, that Markelle Fultz got dropped in the FBI LOFB World Cup in the division he's in. And this is a bunch of guys who are super serious about fantasy. So there you go. Like, if he was dropped in that league, he's dropped in some other leagues. So go and add him, please. John Isaac, also questionable. I mean, cool. That's some breaking news there. John Isaac is questionable with hamstring soreness. I don't think it's ever going to happen for him again. Unfortunately, that injuries have, it appears they've ruined his career. Let's look at the streams of the day. It's going to be dominated by your Orlando Magic. 10-team category stream. Again, we always have cutoffs for this. I've got to leave some sort of cutoff somewhere. I'm using 65% rostered for 10s, 45 for 12s, 20 for 14 teams, and 10% for 16 teams. And then for points leagues, I'm doing a 50% roster cutoff over there. All right, so for 10-team categories, it's Cole Anthony. Yes, Fultz might play, but the absence of Harris does help Cole, so he's a 10-team category streamer. I'm going with Jalen Suggs as a 12-team category streamer. I'm going with Jay Crowder as a 14-team category streamer. Yes, Chris Middleton's missing Wednesday, but he will play on Thursday. There's a chance that Giannis doesn't play, but Crowder played way more than Malik Beasley last game. This is just a deeper league one. I'm not super excited about it, but we're looking for scraps on a 2-game slate, and Crowder could be it. Of course, Mo Wagner and Goga Badadze are excellent stream options, but they're both rostered in over 20% of leagues. So they are also 12-team category streamers, but they don't qualify for the 14-team cutoff here. And then in 16s, we're going with Andrew Nembhard, who's like 8% rostered in Indiana. He's not going to blow us away, but he's going to get 20 minutes, maybe 22, 23. And that should be enough to at least do something in a 16-team league. For a 12-team points league, I'm going with Cole Anthony there again. He has been a consistent stream of the day guy. We've mentioned him so many times so far this season. But he's in that mix. Let's look at what is on my radar for the first game of the day. It is unfortunately a back-to-back for both of these teams. It's the Bucks and the Pacers. Like I said, Chris Middleton is sitting out Wednesday's game, so he should be ready to go for Thursday. Now, the Bucks do have, this is 3 games in 4 nights for them. They played Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. We will see what this means for Giannis. Off-season knee surgery. Ongoing, persistent, incurable knee problem. Last season, sat a lot of back-to-backs. Is a 3-game in 4 night scenario here for Giannis a trigger to sit on Thursday? Now, it is national TV, so we'll see what they say, and they're going to have an excuse. But the excuse is, bloke had knee surgery. So we'll see what they do with that. Just that is one to watch for that Thursday game. For the Pacers, you don't expect there's anything there, but of course anything could crop up on Wednesday. Like Halliburton's already dealt with an injury this season. Turner can deal with injuries really at any point. So let's just keep an eye on that one. In terms of streams, I am looking at Jay Crowder. Look, if Bobby Portis is available, you obviously stream him in, but Crowder would be the next guy. And then we probably go down to a Malik Beasley, although his minutes got cut fairly significantly last game. We want to see whether that's a trend, and that is something that happens again in this one. But it's something that happened, and you're just hearing the buzz around Bucks Twitter. It would suggest that maybe they are moving in that direction. Sometimes you can get little buzz things just by being terminally, perpetually, some might say toxically online, the way that I am to do this job. And you see little things pop up, and when you see them from one person, you go, oh, whatever. It depends who that one person is. But when you see multiple people, a couple of reporters going back and forth on it, you just get these little inklings and urges, and people will often say, what's your source? It's hard to say what my source is. I'm telling you what I think, or what I'm seeing, or what I'm hearing, or just a million different things. Also, if I had a source, I wouldn't tell you who the source was. That's how sourcing works. But it's just a bunch of other stuff that I'm looking at, and that also goes in just completely aside to this about Walker Kessler. Because I got that question again today. Kessler's officially listed doubtful for Wednesday's game. By this point, you'll know whether he plays or not. But Tony Jones, who's plugged in with the Jazz, says that, yes, he's officially doubtful, but he'll miss, and it won't just be a 1 or 2 game thing. It is not a long-term thing, but he's expecting a little bit of time on the sidelines for Kessler. And then he also replied to someone where he said that this injury happened in game 1 of the season for Kessler. So, is that the reason for the low minutes? Well, even though he's going to miss time here, that should give you a significant level of optimism that the minutes will jump back up at some point. Because it does appear, according to what Tony said, and that's not always going to be 100%, but this is what he said, and he is more plugged into the Jazz than I am. He said that Kessler is going to miss time, and he injured it in game 1. So if you want the source from when I tweeted that out, that's what it is. There you go. Reveal my sources that Tony put out publicly. That's that. So just that's a complete aside, just a quick little, and sometimes, I know not everyone watches these daily preview shows that I do. It's, fewer audience in the daily recaps. I know that. But I'm always going to chuck little chunks in here. Yeah, chunks. That's the theme of today's show. We're chunking it up. I'm always going to chuck a little couple of nuggets that I hear that I think you might be able to use in fantasy. On the Indiana side, Obi Toppin. Now, last game from Toppin was encouraging. He played the most minutes on the team. In a game they won by 50. They didn't really pull him back to let other guys get in, and I don't think that we're getting big minutes from Toppin. He has proven to be the guy that he was, I guess, in New York, a substandard, not quite NBA starter level player. He's fine. We thought he had an opportunity. He did. He hasn't grasped it by being great, and his minutes have been pushed back. Not a great sign. But in terms of streaming for the game on Thursday, with only 2 games on the end, obviously he is a pretty solid option there. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. And our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with me, Josh Lloyd, on this show, Locked On Fantasy Basketball, to bring you the best fantasy picks of each week all season long. We're going to be doing this once a week, where eBay is looking at some good fantasy pickups for the week. So where you're preparing to set your lineup, making roster moves by scouring the waiver wire, each week we're going to give you the players that are a guaranteed fit on your roster. So who have I picked out? I'm going to tell you about Bismack Biyombo. Xavier Tillman is out again on Wednesday. I don't know when Tillman's going to return with a knee injury. I don't believe that Santi Aldama and Jaren will be the permanent front court starting combo. Meaning Biyombo's got at least a short-term opportunity here until we see what happens with Tillman, and maybe they do go with Aldama. That Biyombo's got an opportunity to provide value, and he's available in like 89% of leagues. Yes, he's not going to wow you, but he's going to get rebounds, blocks, and field goal percentage. Now, I wasn't as interested in Biyombo when Tillman was playing, but Tillman isn't playing. So let's have a look at what Bismack Biyombo can do. So, will he help you win your fantasy championship? He'll at least give you something. eBay Motors, though, they know a championship team is about players being a perfect fit, the same with your vehicle. So they've got over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You can make sure that your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED, headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs. Yeah. Originally, I read that as whatever your baby needs. Like, what needs do you have for your baby? Car seats, baby on board stickers. But no, that's not it. It's calling your car your baby. I get it now. Not a car person, but I get it now. eBay Motors has it. With eBay Motors Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber and not cash. Shout out to that line. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to US customers. Eligible items only, and exclusions apply. Okay. Let's look at the second game that is on my radar for the day, and that is the Mexico City game. It is the only two teams who aren't playing on Wednesday. It's the Atlanta Hawks, it's the Orlando Magic down there in Mexico City. So what are we looking for on the Atlanta side? Well, what we're going to be looking for a very long time is the Onyeka Okongwu Clint Capella minute split. Okongwu has topped him, giggity, many times in minutes this season, more than probably I would have expected. Are we going to just run 24-24? Are we going to run 25 in Okongwu's favor? Are we going to go back to 28 Capella? Is it a matchup thing? Is it a let's see what's going on thing? We always want to watch that. Okongwu remains must roster, less so in points leagues. And then for the Magic, I want to see, again, the same thing. What happens with the starting center mix? Last game, when he wasn't in foul trouble, it was Mo Wagner getting the 25, 26 minutes while Badadze played 20 to 21. I think that that's what they wanted to do in game one as well. That's what I thought would happen before we got that first starting lineup out. And I'm going to stick with it, that Wagner is the better guy over Badadze, and they will look to give him more minutes as the reserve. Why they wouldn't just start him, who bloody knows? But it doesn't really matter if he gets more minutes. So we want to see how the Wagner-Badadze situation goes. We want to see how the Okongwu and Capella situation goes. And in terms of streaming, well, there are a lot of Orlando Magic guys. There's Cole Anthony, who I've mentioned already as one of the streams of the day. There's Jalen Suggs. There is Mo Wagner. There is Goga Badadze. Now, with Markelle Fultz coming back, or maybe coming back, Anthony Black's stream value is lower. But if Fultz does sit out this Thursday game, then Black is on that list as well to have 5 sort of streaming options. And then deeper leagues, you'd even consider a Joe Ingles. On the Hawks side, Bogdan Bogdanovic is 50% rostered, so he's an option to be a streamer. And then Sadiq Bey is under 40% rostered as well. Just also check that Jalen Johnson's not available in your league. He has pushed up to over 70, but that's still not everybody. So go and grab him. But Bogdan Bogdanovic and Sadiq Bey are also pretty strong stream options for the action on Thursday in that Atlanta and Orlando game. That's the games. That's them done. They're done. They're out of here. Just realized I brought the wrong slide across. We'll bring this one across now. We're looking at chunks, and this is where it gets a little bit important. We're not doing a 2-for-1 because there is no Thursday, Friday back-to-back. So we can't do that one. But what we can do is look at the next 5 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And after a stinking start to the week, we're in a really good run here of streaming days. Thursday is a streaming day, Friday is a streaming day, Saturday is a streaming day, Sunday is not, but Monday is. So we've got 4 out of the next 5 days that we can stream in. And there is only one team who plays 3 games across those 5 nights, a team that is getting really, really dicked with the schedule at the moment. That's the Milwaukee Bucks. They've got 3 games over the next... let me rephrase that. There are other teams who have 3 games over the next 5 days. There is only one team who has got 3 games over the next 5 days that are on low-volume quality days. So there are many teams that have 3 games on. We've got the Celtics, the Bucks, we've got the Sixers. Who else has got the 3 there? The Wizards. But there's the only team that's got the 3 games that fall on the low-volume days is the Milwaukee Bucks. So when we're looking at what is happening with Crowder, with the minutes maybe pushing up, with maybe a Giannis rest in there, there's 3 quality games coming for him and any fringe Bucks guys. Bobby Portis, Malik Beasley, whoever it is. Everyone else has got 2 quality games that we're going to look at. All the Magic guys are really interesting, of course, with Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, Goga Bitadze. You've got Karis LeVert for the Cavs there as well, who's probably going to get his 30 minutes irrespective of other players and their positioning. And you've got Malik Monk, who gets a real boost if De'Aaron Fox is out for any of these games. But otherwise, even if he is a reserve and Fox is playing, with 2 quality games on, there is a use in getting Fox in. So they're probably your top 6 options. Crowder with 3 quality games over the next 5. Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, Malik Monk, and Karis LeVert all have 2 quality games in the next 5 days. They're all readily available in over 50% of fantasy leagues, and you can consider streaming them for a little bit of a short-term schedule boost. Today's episode is also brought to you by the Jace Case. The Jace Case is a personalized emergency medication kit. It contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. I don't want to be too down on things and just be like, man, disasters are hitting the world everywhere, get doomsday prepared. But yeah, we have to face some realities, especially depending on your living situation, where you might just have to have something there just in case. That's not all Jace Case is, though. I say case multiple times. Jace Case provides those life-saving emergency antibiotics, but you can get other daily use medications in a 12-month supply, helps you navigate supply chain issues there too. And they have things like generic versions of ED medications like Cialis and Viagra as well. And you can customize the Jace Case to fit your family's unique medical needs also. So you've got that medication there when you need it, which is exactly what you want when you're dealing with medication. So go to jacemedical.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDON and you get $20 off your order. The promo code is locked on at jasemedical.com. All right, so let's round this big boy out by looking at some streaming options. You already saw a little sneak peek at this 10-team streams. These are all guys who are 65% or below rostered, available for Thursday's action. We're going with Cole Anthony. We're looking at Jalen Suggs, Bobby Portis, Mo Wagner, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Goga Bitadze as some solid enough 12-team streaming options with only the 2 games on. They won't all be available, but a lot of those will be. There's only one of those players, Bobby Portis, who is over 50% rostered. Maybe he's not available, but he will be in some scenarios. 12-team stream options. We've got Jalen Suggs at 40%. These are all 40% or below that I'm looking at here, just to really make sure that they are going to hit the majority of people. Jalen Suggs, 40%. Mo Wagner, 30%. Jay Crowder, 12%. Goga Bitadze, 24%. The Depressed Penis, 38%. That's Sadiq Bey, so I should have said his name. And Aaron Nesmith at 10% as well. You could probably throw Obi Toppin in there also, but Nesmith's also not a bad option to take a look at. For 14, also for deeper streams, these are 20% or below. Jay Crowder's at 12%. You've got Aaron Nesmith at 10%. Jalen Smith, who's getting all of the backup minutes, usually unless it's a blowout in Indiana. Andrew Nembhard at 6%. Malik Beasley at 8%. And Pat Connaughton at 5%. On a day with 2 games on, you're going to be getting anyone who can find 20 minutes or so in a rotation. That can provide you stream value just to get even if you get 8 points in and 3 rebounds. If you're in a situation where there's no games limit for the week and you've got plenty of waiver ads, just getting anything in with a guy who might pop off. Like maybe Patty goes 6 of 7 from the field, Patty Connaughton, and gets you 15 points, 3 rebounds in 20 minutes. It's just a bargain, right? Just someone who's going to be in the rotation on a 2-game night. And these are a lot of guys available. Connaughton, Beasley, Nembhard, Nesmith, Jalen Smith, all the Smiths, Jay Crowder, quite a few options there. And then we go to points leagues. These guys are all 50% rostered or below, and that is for the streaming in on Thursday. So we've got Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, Goga Bitadze. Have you heard that quartet mentioned many times? Yes, you have. Throw in Anthony Black if Markelle Fultz is out, and then Bogdan Bogdanovic and Jay Crowder as a couple more options. Guys, that will do it for a quick look ahead to the games on Thursday. Follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and on Odyssey and on YouTube. Please thumb that up and leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.